Today I am back with a book review and I want to talk about Modelland by Tyra Banks. I've been wanting to get my hands on this book for a few years now, and for some reason whenever I place an order on Amazon or I go to a bookstore, this always slips my mind, and then I get home and I'm like, oh man, I forgot to get Modelland. And this Tyra Banks promoted this on Top Model a few seasons ago, and it seemed really interesting. I love watching America's Next Top Model, so this is like a magical version of Top Model where the girls go to Modelland and they're competing with one another. All their training leads up to the competition to become an Intoxibella, and Intoxibellas are special. They have special powers, and the whole world just kind of looks up to these people. Every girl wants to be an Intoxibella, and it's a really big deal to be invited to Modelland. You can't just go there. You have to be chosen on the day of discovery. So girls prepare all year, picking out dresses and how they're going to do their makeup, and they're perfecting their walk. So they're all walking, and scouts come and pick the lucky girls. And so Tuki de la Creme got chosen, and it's a huge mystery as to why she was chosen. It was a really big surprise when Tuki de la Creme got chosen because she's this really tall, gangly looking girl. She's just really tall and skinny. She has a protruding forehead like Tyra Banks. She has one brown eye and one green eye, and she's what they call a forget-a girl, someone that's just never noticed. She's even tried laying down in the hallway at her school during passing period just to see if anyone would stomp on her, but they just kind of step over her as though her body wasn't even there. She's one of those people that get through life being totally unnoticed. However, her younger sister, who is 2 years younger, Tuki is 15 years old, and her sister Miracle is 13 years old, and Miracle is really just breathtakingly beautiful. She loves to dance. She's just full of energy, but she's dumb as a rock. But it doesn't matter because she's so pretty, and she's expected to be chosen as a Bella on Day of Discovery. So when the scout chose Tuki over Miracle, it infuriated her mother, and there's some foreshadowing going on there. From the beginning, you know that something is up. Why is her mother that angry? And her father couldn't understand. He said, we should be proud that one of our daughters are chosen. And Creamy, the mom's name, she goes by Creamy, she just was not having it. She did not care that one of her daughters was chosen. She wanted Miracle to be the one that's chosen. And then you find out at the end why this bothers her so much. So she's carried away in this pouch, and she's flying around with this scout, and the scout is getting more girls together, and all these girls look strange. They don't have that typical beautiful face and body where they're just like tall, thin, and just have a perfectly sculpted face. Her scout picks the weirdest looking people that don't fall under that category of what's beautiful. So obviously Tuki looks strange, and she's like a social outcast. And then she chooses an albino girl. She chooses a tiny girl, just short, tiny, and then another girl that's bigger. She's described as voluptuous, but some of the other Bellas just call her fat. So there's all this speculation about what's going on. Why are these girls chosen? There's a bigger plan for them, and they're a part of this experiment. Once they get to Modelland, it's just a series of strange things happening. They meet these creatures, like the first one they meet is, oh, I forget its name, but it has a face that's the shape of a hand, and then they go through zip zaps, which is like portals made of zippers, and they go through experiences, like they get their makeup done and they look beautiful, and then their faces just like start rotting off, and so some of the girls can't handle the weight of the competition, so they run out the exit door, and so they're disqualified. So they go through a series of challenges, and only the best and the toughest girls get to move on. And they have classes, like they learn to debate, they learn to use manipulate facial expressions. They compete physically. It's a lot like Top Model, because in Top Model they do physical competitions as well as like interviewing, learning how to interview people, so they learn how to act as well, and they've even done some singing. So it's like an all-around competition to exercise all of their skills. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. My only issue is that it is kind of longer than it has to be. It's about 550 pages, and I don't mind the length of a book as long as it's interesting and it keeps me going, like if it's a real page turner. But most of the book was kind of slow for me, especially the first 100 pages. There's a lot of setup. Well, since this book is a part of a series, the second book hasn't come out yet, but since it is a part of a series, you want to lay a good foundation. So I guess that's what Tyra Banks is trying to do. I feel like the last 100 pages was really, really good. Throughout most of the book, I felt like many of the characters are two-dimensional. The only person that had any depth, I felt like, was Tuki, and even even with her, I feel like she was a little two-dimensional. But in the last 100 pages, there's so much that's unraveling that I was pleasantly surprised. The characters had a lot of depth, and the plot line is just so deep, and it just kind of, the last 100 pages flew by. I was so upset that it was almost over, and I was just getting to the exciting part. So I feel like the book could have been shorter. Like maybe the first 400 pages could be condensed to maybe 300 or even 200. There's a lot of description, a lot of imagery, lots and lots of colorful adjectives. It was very voluminous, and sometimes you just gotta get to the point, otherwise you lose the interest of the reader. So that's my I guess not issue, but that's the one thing that I would want to change about the book. But the plot is definitely more complicated than I thought it would be, and a lot of time and effort has really gone into the writing, and I really appreciate that. If you've read it, leave a comment below, let me know what you think, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye!